All right, welcome to this episode. I'm looking at this question. The question is from an Olympiad question, and we are told to solve x raised to the power of 4 minus 16 equals to 0. While looking at the question, you may be wondering like this is quite direct and straightforward. But the question is expecting, or we are expected from the question to find all of its possible solutions. So let's dive quickly into the question. Now, this is x raised to the power of 4 minus 16 equals to 0. What do you do? When you look at this closely, we can make use of our understanding of difference of two squares. But this is now a square, but we can yet again simplify this further by saying this is x squared all squared minus, okay, we can turn this 16 to the square of 4. So this is 4 square equals to 0. Okay, so now this is a square and this is also a square, so we can apply our understanding of difference of two squares here. From our understanding of difference of two squares, we can then say this will be x raised to the power of 2 plus 4 in a bracket. Opening another bracket, we have x raised to the power of 2 minus 4 equals to 0. Okay, so going further from that, we can then equate both of them individually to 0. So in equating this particular one to 0, we'll be having x squared plus 4 equals to 0. And simplifying further from this gives us s squared being equals to minus 4. And then finding out the value of x, we can then find the square root of both sides. And when we find the square root of both sides, this gives us x equals to the square root of minus 4. The square root of minus 4. Now, when you punch your calculator directly, it gives you a math error because this is a negative value. And being a negative value, it draws our attention to a complex number. So it's going to be having an imaginary root. So recall I equals to the square root of minus 1. So we can then go ahead by saying this becomes x equals to plus or minus the square root of minus 1 times 4. Minus 1 times 4 gives us the value of minus 4 above. So this can simply be simplified to this. All right, so moving further, we can then split this up from our understanding of sorts. We can then say this becomes x equals to plus or minus the square root of minus 1 times the square root of 4. Okay, so this moves on further to being plus or minus. Remember, root minus 1 is given as I above here. Okay, so we can match on by saying the square root of 4 is 2, and then root minus 1 gives us I. So x from x squared plus 4 being equals to 0, our values for x would be plus or minus 2i, or splitting it out, we can say 2i or minus 2i. Now, when we go further from there, now let's simplify the s squared minus 4 to get the value or the root for that. Okay, since this was a product, and we've already stated x squared plus 4 being equal to 0, we can go ahead by saying x squared minus 4 equals to 0. So let's quickly state that out. So in stating that out, we'll be having x squared minus 4 equals to 0. Okay, so when you take minus 4 to the other side, you'll be having x squared equals to 4. And in finding the square root of both sides, we'll be having x equals to the square root of 4. And don't forget, whenever you find the square root of a number, you'll be having a positive and a negative answer. So the square root of 4 gives us a plus or a minus 2. So in stating this further, we can split it out by saying this is plus 2 or minus 2. So in answering the question given, we can go ahead by saying x raised to the power of 4 minus 16 equals to 0. The values of x would be x equals 2 or minus 2, and at the same time we can also say x equals 2i or minus 2i, which is a complex number. All right, so that brings us to the end of the question. All right, thank you very much and see you in our next class. Bye.